But then I think one of the challenges in the ultra racing community was that people tried to like take that approach. Like they saw some of us experimenting and doing less and less sleep and not sleeping. And then they tried to take that, more people tried to take that to longer races like the Colorado Trail Race, which you're out for like 4 or 5 or 6 nights, or Tour Divide. And a lot of people just like wearing themselves down early in the event by not sleeping. And, you know, if you let yourself get sleep deprived night 1, 2, 3 in a long race, I mean, then you're sleep deprived the entire thing. Whereas if you know, sleep a lot more earlier on, you're much less sleep deprived for a longer amount of time in the race. So your body is just going to work more efficiently. Your brain's going to work more efficiently. Your cognition isn't going to like gradually go downhill as it does when the brain gets sleep deprived. And another thing that's really, I think, change in my mind is the kind of around the glorification of sleep deprivation. Like early on, there were some folks that, you know, almost like brag about how little they sleep. And, you know, I was never intentionally like boastful about it. I was fascinated by it and like what was possible with like minimal sleep or no sleep. But, you know, the more I spent time reading and learning about just how does sleep deprivation affect your body and especially your brain,
Sure.
got to be a little concerning about like, well, what are the long-term implications of doing lots of these ultras and being sleep deprived in all of them for a while and stressing your body and your brain in that way. And it's pretty scary. Like there's a book called Why We Sleep by
Matthew Walker.
Matthew Walker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Fantastic one. I would highly recommend
Yeah.
everyone interested in sleep deprivation, or even just like athletes in general or people I mean, it's really informative just what goes on in our heads and our bodies while we sleep and what the function of sleep is.
Yeah.
And the
Matthew
importance
Walker
of it.
freaked me out when I heard him about that book on a podcast.
Yes.
That's where
Yeah,
I
I
really
forget
started
what
to
the
dive
pod.
in.
It was like 3 or 4 years ago that he did an interview that was about a lot of that, and it was concerning to
Yeah,
hear.
he's doing a 6-part series on Huberman right now.
Okay.
So Huberman Lab. So
Yep.
like really started to turn me on to exactly what you're talking about here.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I think there's also, if you just look at ultra athletes in general, there you can see some folks that just do a ton of long races. They visibly like age faster.
Yeah.
It's like, it's really concerning to see that. And so once I started paying more attention to that, you know, I'd raced Tour Divide like 3 times at that point, and my, you know, the desire, well, and you mentioned how long your recovery was,
Yeah.
like from
I stacked a few things together.
mm-hmm.
So like I did the sleep deprivation and then I accrued my wife for Cocodona. And so I didn't sleep a lot while I was like up.
And that's like two nights or 3 nights?
That it took her 5 days.
4 nights. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I was kind of, she obviously slept a lot less than I did, but like
Yep.
I still was like getting up at weird hours and my circadian cycle was all
totally.
screwed
Yeah,
up. Right?
totally off.
And then I went to Iceland after that with Dana and it was 24 hours of sunlight at the time and did a bikepacking trip there.
Yep.
And so that screwed me up. And then the jet lag on top of that. So all that
Yep.
stuff like stacked. I think I would have been fine if I just did stagecoach and just did the sleep deprivation during that.
Yep.
And not stack those other things after it.
Yeah.
So, like, are you concerned about long-term damage?
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think it is a really, I mean, if you can see ultra athletes like aging visibly faster than their peers who don't do as much, like that's concerning there. But learning more about just like the cognitive impacts of sleep deprivation, and what, I mean, some of the studies of, you know, chemically what goes on in your brain after missing 2 nights, 3 nights, 4 nights,